SplashDash is perfect for people doing endless customers because it has AI visibility, which allows you to see how much you're showing up in the AI search results, specifically ChatGPT.
That's an amazing way to get real data and then build trust, which is what endless customers is all about.
You're listening to the Endless Customers podcast, brought to you by the team at Impact. Endless Customers is the proven system to become the most known and trusted brand in your market. If you want to start to learn the principles of Endless Customers and how you can implement them in your business, pick up a copy of Endless Customers, a national bestseller wherever books are sold. Ready to start implementing Endless Customers in your business? Talk to Impact about how our coaching program can help you implement Endless Customers to success. And if you want to experience Endless Customers in person, do not miss our upcoming conference, Endless Customers Live, in Chicago, March 30th through April 1st, 2026. Registration is now open. And now, onto the show. Here's your host, Alex Winter.
If you've ever opened a marketing report and thought, I have no idea what this means or why it matters, well, you're not alone. For most companies, reporting has become a wall of numbers instead of a story that builds trust. The dashboards look great, but no one really knows what to do with them. That's why I'm so excited about today's conversation with Ruan Marinho, the founder of SplashDash, a platform that's rethinking how we communicate marketing results. In the Endless Customers journey, we talk a lot about transparency and bringing marketing in-house. But transparency isn't just about sharing data, it's about making data meaningful. Ruan's tools help businesses do exactly that. He's going to walk us through how teams use it to present results with clarity and examples of companies that turn confusing dashboards into revenue-driving conversations. You'll hear what changed for them, what it looks like day to day, and what you can do this quarter to make your reporting more human, honest, and useful. Ruan, welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
It's first time in the studio, right?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Awesome.
Great job. I love everything that Impact does.
Thank you. Well, we love everything that SplashDash is all about too, and we are so pumped to have you on the show. So I think for our viewers and our listeners out there, can you tell everybody what SplashDash is and just a little bit about yourself as the founder and just how this all came to be and set the stage before we get into the meat and potatoes?
Sure. So my name is Ruan Marinho. I started a software called SplashDash, and I started it after running a marketing agency for 8 years and realizing that a lot of the tools that allow you to send reports are very cluttered with information. It's almost like looking at an airport terminal. And we've realized that we've got to send people signal, not noise. Because whenever we sent a marketing report, people would just be confused. So we actually stopped sending all reporting.
No kidding. Wow.
And that was the moment when I realized I wish I could go to a Costco for data. And I could buy the data wholesale and package it up for people to run it, and they don't have to integrate anything. So
like a one-stop kind of shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, and so that's where I came up with the idea of SplashDash. And so when you log into it, you're almost greeted with a bunch of different reports that you can pull, and it's just focus on sending a clear signal.
Nice. And where did this idea come from? Was it like born out of necessity, like you just wanted to have something like this and it didn't exist in the marketplace?
So when I would talk to customers, they would say frequent things that I kept hearing. How many reviews do we need to get? Who's our top competitor? What backlinks should we try to gain? How's our traffic doing? How's the competitors' traffic doing? What does the market look like? We want to expand to this area. Can you tell us if we're going to do well in that area? So I took all of those things and I turned them into little reports within SplashDash. So all of those reports a user can run without having to integrate any of the data themselves, because a lot of these tools are very expensive. So if you wanted a subscription to every one of the tools that SplashDash is offering you, it's very expensive. So we package it all up into one place. So it came out of necessity, but it also came out of I really feel like the world needs this.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you first explained this to me too, when you were launching it, I love the idea of having a centralized place because it's almost like TV, how you used to have cable and then everything switched to apps. And now you need to have 30 different apps. And it's like you're paying all these subscription fees and it's it's a hot mess. It really is. So to have everything in one place is a beautiful thing.
It is.
Yeah.
And the value of it from a business model is the more people use SplashDash, the more the companies we're getting the data from get paid. And so they're excited that we're putting their logo in our platform because we're not saying the data is coming from us. We're proudly representing the companies we're buying the data from. So it's strengthening our partnership with them.
Right.
And so we really are like the Costco of data. That's where we're trying to head. Taking these name brands and then offering it at bulk for customers that may not, purchase them directly.
Yeah, I love it. So you said you're a big Endless Customers fan and an Impact fan, and we appreciate that. We're fans of you too. You sponsor the events. You come to all of our Endless Customer Lives and interact with a lot of our clientele, which is just a really great thing. Can you explain a little bit or like talk about why SplashDash is a great tool for people that are trying to bring their marketing in-house and for people that are trying to build trust and implement the Endless Customer system and how it can help them do that even better?
Well, I think the first thing is AI visibility is a key topic of conversation right now.
Yeah.
And the main reason is if you're doing marketing in-house, you may not want to have access to all of these softwares because you may use it very rarely. And so being able to log into one place and pull from a bunch of these different sources directly with the signal that you need is a lot better than trying to figure out all these complex tools. So while our mission is to not tell people to move away from those tools, we are very supplemental. So it's useful for somebody that is in marketing to use simplified information, because usually the stakeholder and the decision makers and the founders of those companies and the CEOs of those companies, they don't want to see all of this intricate information. They just want a quick splash of data. And so that's what we're really trying to make is like you log in, you run a report, you leave. That's why we called it SplashDash. Like you go in, you make a splash and you leave.
Yeah.
We're not expecting you to have these entire gigantic spreadsheets of information that are very difficult to understand. We're trying to show you a quick insight and that's it.
Got it. So for someone who's like a marketing leader or a content manager or something like that, how would they use this tool in their like day-to-day to help them create content, to help them build more trust, to help them use Endless Customers to their advantage and obviously go faster? Because that's the whole point of AI, is to speed things up.
Yeah.
Optimize.
So the first thing that came to head when you asked that question is AI visibility.
Yeah.
So in SplashDash, you can run an AI visibility report, and basically all it'll do is ChatGPT will prompt 100 queries related to your brand, and it will basically say, out of these 100 queries, here's how many times you showed up. And so if you showed up 30% of the times, which is 30 out of the 100 times, there's 70% of the work you still need to do. The way that relates to Endless Customers is, are you addressing the things you're not being mentioned for directly on your website? So with a couple clicks, you now have homework and executionable work to actually get you more visibility inside of the LLMs, which is everything right now. So AI visibility would probably be the first thing that I would recommend, is log in, see how you're ranking in the AIs, specifically inside of ChatGPT, because that's where everybody's going.
And that's where the big shift has been happening. You know, it used to be Google, and they ask you answer before it evolved into what is now Endless Customers. Used to be very much about organic SEO and about getting found on Google, but there's a huge shift happening. And people are asking the same question. It's like, how come I'm not showing up in GPT? How come I'm not showing up in Claude or in Grok or wherever people are searching? And I think that plays into exactly what you're saying.
It does. And when you log into SplashDash and you do one of the AI visibility reports, it not only will search for keywords related to your brand to show you how much you're showing up, it'll show you what citations are being mentioned the most. So for every market, it's different. For example, for a moving company local to us, Move Buddha is a really critical citation. For a moving company in Texas, however, the BBB is very important. So the response rates of those citations and the percentage of how much time they show up tells the marketer what they need to focus on. Gotcha. So for Connecticut, guess what we're signing up for? Move Buddha. Because it's taking the companies that are listed there and then recommending them in the LLM. And our customers are upset by that because they've ignored that forever because there really was no need to pay attention to it. But now, because ChatGPT is looking at these citations, you need to know which citations are being mentioned the most in your market and then get listed on that, sponsor it, upload photos, upload videos, and optimize it. So a marketing person can be running that every single month, once per month, sharing it with their leadership team, and then making decisions based off of that.
Yeah, that's really cool to hear that, because I've heard from countless clients. I've gone out and shot customer journey videos and case studies, and a recurring theme that I hear before AI was that the organic search was working so well that they'd have people way outside of their geographic range asking for services for roofing or for whatever the company was doing, B2B, B2C. And they were like, sorry, you guys are in Canada. We're in Texas. Like you're not. So like the coolest part about this is you can get hyper specific with a tool like SplashDash.
Yep.
And then really hone in on like your local, like your optimized or like best clientele, and not be wasting time and effort on people that might be a good fit, but just aren't in your region.
And I think that's the unique reason we built it, is just for local. So everything inside of SplashDash is thought for the person that has a physical location or multiple physical locations.
Gotcha.
Whereas a lot of the bigger tools, granted they're amazing and we love them, they're more so focused on Amazon.com, Apple.com. So SplashDash is really taking into location, proximity, zip code, things along those lines.
What happens when a company starts using a reporting tool like SplashDash? Because we're big HubSpot fans here, and we tell a lot of our clients, and we recommend to everybody that they should be using HubSpot or at least some type of CRM for their sales pipelines and funnels, so they have real data to make actual decisions on, and not just kind of like making guesstimations on things. So what would you like? How do you recommend that to people as well, as far as like the importance of having a tool like this to have real data and to make better decisions using that data?
I think any good marketing strategy uses internal data, which would be HubSpot, and then they use external data as well.
Okay.
What is a marketplace saying? What are people saying about competitors? And then taking that data and then making decisions to actually execute on what's going to have the most opportunity. So to your case, I actually heard this on this podcast, that marketing is becoming more about accountability. And so a lot of the times people will hire marketing managers, but the founders won't actually know what to execute on. And so the marketing person's left up to actually do the execution. So they could rely on tools like SplashDash and HubSpot to come up with the ideas, propose it to the stakeholders, to the decision makers, get the buy-in, and then execute on it, and then test against it.
Right.
So if you ran a visibility report in GPT, let's say 3 months ago, you executed, and this month you're up 20%, that's how much more visibility you're getting in the market. Well, that's a good sign of what you're doing is working, and you're showing up on average more in the LLMs.
Right. That makes total sense. And that just goes back to the fundamentals of endless customers. And it's part of why I love this system, is because you need to listen to what people want and are asking for. You can't just tell people anymore. People can search. People have all these tools. They don't want to be told what to buy or how to buy. They want to do it themselves. So you have to meet them where they are. And this just helps you do that with real data. And you can see it in real time, which is pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot from They Ask You Answer and Endless Customers, because Develomark, the first business that I had, which is still operating and doing well, is you have to talk to you have to talk to us. You have to get signed up for a package. The pricing's not on the website. It's custom. There's consultation. Then there's deliverability, which we love. We love the service model.
Okay.
SplashDash is the complete opposite. It is completely self-service. You go to the website, you sign up for a free account, you immediately get to start using reports. If you want to upgrade, there's a clear path to that. Your reports reset every single month. So I'm trying to do the duality of the service model with the new venture, which is a lot of the self-serviceability.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's interesting that you have one company that's very much in like the endless customers workflow, and one that is custom to how you have always been doing things previously.
Yeah. It's taken a lot of the components from it, but it's not embracing it entirely. And I think anybody that is doing business needs to really start thinking about in endless customers when the self-service modules are being talked about. You're absolutely right. Like, if customers don't want to talk to you, they probably don't need to. So give them the option. And with vibe coding tools out there like Lovable, v0.app, some of these tools allow you to build these calculator, these websites. Price Guide AI, I know that's one that Marcus is doing. Those are tools that are going to allow you to increase your conversion rate, because when the LLMs search the internet, they're going to provide the user with the best option possible. And I really feel like with the release of Atlas, ChatGPT's browser, which I've been addicted to, like I literally can't sleep. I just use it all the time.
It is addictive.
It's addicting.
Yeah. Dopamine kick after dopamine kick after, it's
like
crazy.
You turn it on and the agent's doing the work for you. So a lot of the things that we're seeing now, we're seeing our clients getting calls from ChatGPT, and we're thinking like, how is ChatGPT calling our client? Well, it's not. The agent's doing it. And so I think a lot of these agents are going to execute the work. So if you have self-service on your website, expect in the future people's phones to have agents that are just going to do the work for them. And if your website can stand out, it's going to choose you.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think AI agents, that's where it's going. That's where it's heading. And I think we're only scratching the surface of what's possible and what's going to be a reality in the near future. So it's exciting.
It is.
Can you share a couple real world examples with me? So we've been talking about the theory and about like the specs of how SplashDash works, but can you tell our audience a little bit about like some clients that have been using it and how it's been effective for them and what's been working for them?
Absolutely. So there's a report in SplashDash called Sentiment Analysis.
Okay.
And this is a report that analyzes all of your competitors in a given marketplace. So for example, if you wanted to figure out what people really care about for restaurants in Middlebury, Connecticut, SplashDash will go out and look at all of the Google business profiles, analyze all of the reviews, and show you what are the most popular words that are being mentioned positively and negatively. So most of our customers, direct customers and agencies, because most of our customers are actually agencies, they are utilizing that data to guide what's on their landing pages. And so a lot of the times, some of the data might seem obvious, but a lot of the times it's really not obvious. And that allows them to make a decision as to why they're using the wording that they're using. Because if somebody's mentioning something negatively, it's that if a sentiment is negative about something, but that's your strength, that's what you need to advertise. Because you're working in a marketplace where somebody can't fulfill that need, but you can. So that's a really good example of how they're doing it. The second good example is, again, we had an agency today, their name was Thump Local, and they're in New York. And so they do local digital ads, and they're using our ad budget simulator feature, which allows them to check a population, filter the demographics, recommend an ad budget, show the customer what they're potentially going to make. If it's positive, they'll sell the ads. If it's negative, they won't recommend the ads. Because just because you can run ads doesn't mean you're going to make money from it. So actually, when I was at BuildX, Buzz,
who's a client of ours,
who's a client of
customer's journey right now. Yep. Up in Massachusetts.
Yep. And he's amazing. Andover. And he told me, oh, Google ads don't work for us. I said, okay, well, let's run an ad budget simulator. And it was negative. So I was like, that makes sense. So a lot of the times you're setting a hypothesis and then SplashDash is validating that hypothesis with the available reports we have. And that's what's so exciting about it is we're an engineering team of 3 people right now full time. There's just going to be more reports and more enhanced reports coming as we continue to build the product. Yeah. And all of those features that we're making are in mind of really taking an idea and then selling it so you can execute it.
Yeah. I'm fascinated. My wheels are like spinning like 100 miles an hour right now because I come out of old advertising. So I owned an ad agency for about a decade and started out in social media and then got into paid media and media buying and placement. And you very rarely hear agencies that say no to paid media. Like, even if it's not going to work, they'll still take your money. They'll still try to put the ads out. And even if it's not effective, they're like, well, throw more money at it. That used to be the old kind of way of thinking. And it's refreshing to hear you say that there's agencies using this tool to say, hey, this actually isn't effective for your particular business or for, the angle you're trying to attack right now. Let's reallocate this budget for something else or whatever the case may be. But I love hearing that because that's not how it used to be. And there's clearly a shift happening.
I'll give you another example, two more examples actually,
please,
that I can think of right now. So there was another agency that was working with somebody and they were going to recommend advertising. But when SplashDash did the research and they analyzed 15 Google business profiles somewhere in Texas, and it found that the average amount of reviews for a plumber in that area was 900, but the client was at 200. You can't recommend them advertising. They're not going to get results. The customer's always going to pick at least what the average is. So they were able to benchmark a review goal for the customer based on that data, which they ran in 2 seconds. And now they had a talking point with the marketing for the company to set that benchmark. So it allows them to set what the leader is, what the bottom is, what the average is. So if they're not above average, you shouldn't be recommending the ads because just because you can run an ad, like you said, throwing money at the problem, the customer's not going to choose you just because you're running an ad. They're going to research you. They're going to look at your reviews. So you need to know at the market level where you're at. The second thing that I can tell you is SplashDash has something called a keyword trend overview, which basically takes a topic. One of the ones that I'm thinking of right now is called HRT, hormone replacement therapy.
Okay.
And it finds all of the other words that are related to that and shows you how it's trending. And this is really useful for local because of seasonality. Because in SplashDash, it'll clearly tell you what's seasonal and what's not. And this one is trending upwards, which means there's more volume for it. If there's more volume for it, it's probably a good idea to start advertising for it because people are looking for it. But some of the other categories in the business was lower. And so it was going down or it was kind of stable. So they're not going to grow there. They're going to grow with the new service.
Yeah.
So that allowed the agency to tell the customer that information and it allowed them to buy into it.
Totally. Well, it's helping you discover the root of the problem.
Yeah.
You may think you need to throw paid dollars at something, and if it's not working, let's just double down on our budget. When in reality, you're driving people to a place where like your reviews aren't hitting the mark, and you really need to focus on your reviews first before like that. That just like blew my mind hearing that because it's so simple, the concept, but until you like paint that picture, it's very easy to overlook those things. That's incredible. And I hear you too, that agencies are using this with their clientele, but I also, this is a great value add. If you have internal marketing or if you're running endless customers, you could do the same thing that an agency would tell you by just using this data and trying to understand it as best you can and then implement or iterate off of it.
Yeah. And I think for internal marketing professionals, the simplicity of it is really what gets them interested in it.
Okay.
You log in, doesn't know anything about you. You input a few fields, a domain and a location, and it gives you the data that you want. So in that, and I think the price point too, there's a free for life account, and I'm not trying to sell it, I'm just explaining it.
Yeah.
And the free for life account allows you to do some cool things too. So I really want the self-service model. I'm really invested in that. Like when I heard Marcus talking about that in all of the webinars and the live conferences, I mean, he was really honing in on that. Yeah. My dream is to have a successful self-service business.
Well, I hope your dream comes true. And it sounds like you're working. It sounds like you're working the plan. Like
very hard.
It's going in that direction. That's exciting.
Yeah.
And that's why we wanted to have you on the show, because I find this stuff fascinating. And I think what you're doing is how do I say this? I'm trying to find the right word where it's like, it's so simple, but there's beauty in its simplicity. And I know behind the scenes, like it's a very complex tool that you guys have been honing and working and designing and coding, but like, when the user interface, because I use it, and I've been on calls with you where you've shown me dashboards and worked on stuff with me, and it's super intuitive and it's super easy to use. If you know how to use HubSpot, or if you know how to use any other AI tools, like it's you can get in there and get your hands dirty pretty quickly and start having effective results with it.
Can I give you another example?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
So
keep them coming.
Yeah. So this was an example of how we used it, and we use it a lot. And so we are working with a customer, and we all have assumptions, because when we're in business, we're really looking inside of the four walls inside of our head. We don't typically see outside perspectives, and we make a lot of assumptions in marketing. And
For
so
sure.
it happens,
yes.
right?
Yes.
So 100%. You run a demographics report, and all of a sudden you find out 50% of the demographics around your area is Hispanic, but you don't have any Hispanic people on your website.
Yeah.
And
you don't have like dual language or option for them. Everything's only in English, and there's no captions or subtitle or anything. Yeah.
Now, if you're a marketing person in a company and you tell a stakeholder that, you tell your boss that, or you tell whatever the CEO, or you tell your client if they're an agency that, and you're just assuming. And so when you show them the data, it makes it a lot more clear, and the conversions skyrocket because you understand the market. Another good example is the majority of that market was boomers. And so there was no boomers on the website. This was in Southern Florida. So now you're thinking, okay, well, we got to put more Hispanic people on the website. We got to say we speak Spanish. Maybe there's a Spanish landing page or Spanish ads, and we're showing boomers. Those little things allow you to take the data from SplashDash, sell them to whoever the stakeholder is, gain approval, and move with confidence. That's where we're really going. It's not a research tool as much as it is a sales tool almost of your ideas.
Yeah. That makes sense. How about because I always have my marketing cap on. We work here on the marketing team, as you know. How does it work from a reporting standpoint? So I love what you just said, right? Like, let's say I want to go to Bob, who's the CEO of our company, and say like, hey, here's the data that I just pulled out of SplashDash for our geographic net, and here's like the talking points. Like, how would somebody do that if they wanted to do this in their company internally and they wanted to bring stuff to leadership? Like, do you have reports that people can leverage to basically have these exact conversations that you're talking about?
Absolutely. I would just log in and run every single one.
Yeah.
And just look at them. And then the cool thing about SplashDash is every time you create a report, you can create a public link. We want it to be passwordless. So like if I send you a link, it just opens on your phone. There's no password.
Right. It's not like gated, like how sometimes Google Docs, you need like permissions.
Yes.
It drives me nuts.
There's no permission. There's just a link.
Okay.
That link can be pasted into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT can talk to SplashDash, which is something that's really cool. So you can run every single report, put them all into GPT, and then have a conversation with the data. That's been a really popular way that users have been using it. But the second thing is almost every report that you can run inside of there can give you insight of what you're looking to accomplish. So if I were to think of a few reports that would make sense for you guys specifically, it would be GPT visibility. That just makes all the sense for impact. It would be competitive overview. However, I don't think you guys compete with a lot of agencies that are local specifically. So a lot of the tools are driving local results. And then just the general digital presence, which is showing you a lot of the key metrics that any marketer should know. Your top pages, your sentiment, your top keywords, your organic traffic over time.
Engagement, stuff like that.
Your domain age, how that compares to your competition's domain age, your domain authority, things along those lines. Now, the organic traffic, a lot of the charts are going down because people aren't clicking through from the search engines.
Yeah,
so
that's true. Organic search and traffic is way down.
It is.
And it's continuing. I don't think that's going to stop.
It's not. Zero click.
Yeah. So for people that are on the endless customer journey, people that are listening right now, what are 2 or 3 things that they should be thinking about when it comes to SplashDash if they want to try it out and they want to use it, like key metrics for them?
GPT visibility is number 1.
Okay.
I believe that ChatGPT is going to pretty much dominate the internet. And so understanding how GPT picks results starts by running a GPT visibility report in your market. Okay. Because that's going to tell you the phrases that GPT responds with the most. So that tells you how it's thinking. Then it's going to show you the citations it's responding with the most. You're going to want to focus on the citations at the top and list your business there and sponsor that listing. And then you're going to want to think about which prompts you're not showing up for. And if they're relevant, optimize for them, which means creating a video, creating a blog, creating an article, because GPT watches videos now. So you want to be omnipresent with your videos, especially short form videos, as you know.
Yeah.
The second thing I would look at is competitive overview, because that's going to search your local marketplace, compare you against your top 10 competitors, and show you your benchmark across those metrics. So if you are lower than your competition, organic, reviews, et cetera, you can now understand how you're performing against your competition. That's really, really important. And then the third one would probably be just to get started, would be demographics, which is free. You don't have to pay for that. And demographics just allows you to understand your market's psychographics, demographics, generations, and things along those lines. The way you talk to a millennial is a lot different than you talk to a Gen X. And so this becomes very prominent in your messaging and your marketing. So who you're really trying to reach and understanding who's in your marketplace really helps with creative. And we're entering a creative world. So the last thing that I would say is inside of SplashDash is I would really consider running a sentiment analysis too, because that's going to show you what your marketplace cares about.
Yeah.
Because we make all these assumptions. Should I say free inspection or should I say contact us? Well, your market, more people say free inspection. So talk to your customer how they talk to themselves.
Right. Right. And it's so true, because it used to just be social media was like, oh, certain platforms or certain generations and you talk different and different types of content work, but that's not necessarily true anymore. It's not just social media. It's across all your content. Mm-hmm. It really is. And you need to have ways to have real data so that you can position what you're saying to meet people where they are, which is like, that's the definition of endless customers to me, is like meeting people where they are, talking the talk, and giving them a chance to really make an informed decision and build trust.
Now that you've said that, the other thing that I think is absolutely critical is aggressive experimentation.
Okay.
Especially with things like ChatGPT Atlas right now, which is a browser that you can download and it can do agentic things directly on your computer. Mm-hmm. I've been playing with it relentlessly. The other thing that I would say too is with experimentation is AI creative, specifically with FreePick. FreePick is a multi-model AI creative software that allows you to work within all of the different AI tools, videos and photo, and you can upload an image and create photorealistic variations of it. So Facebook's Andromeda update that just came out, which basically says, you guys don't worry about targeting. We got this. Handle the creative. The companies that are going to be able to pump out the most creative with the right messaging are going to be the ones that get the most customers. So it's a little bit of understanding your marketplace and then a little bit of understanding experimenting to make more creative faster.
Yeah, I
think is absolutely critical.
The speed is a huge piece. And that's something that we heard at Inbound, and we've been hearing at a lot of different conferences, just like across the board. But this might be going a little off topic, but I'm just curious. I want to pick your brain. Like, where do you find that balance of speed and creating a lot of content, but also not making it look too AI? I think there's a fear out there, and at least I'll speak for myself, that like, I can tell when videos are AI. Like it's getting a lot better. It's getting much more difficult. And maybe because of my video background, I have a keen eye for it, but like I can still see when things are AI. So like, how do you find that balance of like, not just like throwing out a ton of content that's basically people know is not authentic or is not real? So
there's two ways people are handling it right now.
Yeah.
Both of which we are experimenting with. One is creating a completely different page that's just AI and discloses it's AI and people know, but it's associated with a brand. These are called AI avatars. And so an AI avatar goes to create a page, creates viral videos, and then mentions the product or the brand that it's working with. Mm-hmm. And that's complete separation from the brand. You're not trying to trick people. That works. You can use tools like FreePick and keep the character consistent, saying different things, using 11 Labs for the voice. You guys know this. You do the video stuff.
Sure.
The second route that I'm seeing outside of just the AI creative is really just doing the stuff that's difficult, like with live streaming. So if you watch people like Gary Vee, he's gung-ho about live streaming right now because I think we're a little far away from an AI avatar doing live streams.
Yeah.
And we're really moving into a world where if it's all going to be AI creative, people are going to want to see authenticity.
And that's the way to keep it. The one way to keep it real is because
you're live.
You're live. Yeah. And
you're going to mess up.
Even some of the best AI agents, when you're on the phone, there's still like a slight pause, and you can tell before they respond. And yeah,
you throw them a curveball, they're done.
Yeah, totally.
So I think that there's a mix to it, is experimenting with all AI and then experimenting with zero AI. just going both paths and see what works well for you.
Yeah. I like what you said about using, like, we partner with HeyGen. We love the avatars that they make. There's other options out there too, but picking a lane and staying with it. Like, this is going to be our avatar that's on our site and on our social media, so that like it starts to build a brand consistency and it's not just like all over the place. That makes a lot of sense to me, because I think going back to what I was saying about, like, sometimes I can tell it's usually brands that are like, you see one person and then you see somebody else and you see this, and it's like, it's just like all over the place. Like, they're just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. That doesn't build trust for me. But if I consistently see somebody or an avatar that's consistent and is like saying the same things and is trying to build a brand and push people towards a brand, even though I know it's AI, I think I'd be more open to that, because they're just like owning it versus trying to like trick you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, the other thing I was going to say too is we're thinking about investing in an EEG machine, because
what's that?
It's basically a machine that allows you to connect to your head, and it monitors your brain waves.
Whoa.
Because again, we're making an assumption that we're not stimulated by AI. But if you run an EEG machine on someone's brain and their stimulation shows that they actually like the ad, but they say they don't like it, that's a different story. Because in marketing, as you know, we're trying to be memorable. So if AI can be memorable, but people say they don't like it, they still remember the brand.
That's so true. Being memorable and liking something are two very different things.
Exactly.
They are.
Exactly. Yep. And so are you on Instagram?
Yes.
So you're seeing all the AI videos.
Too much. It's
too
like
much
ad nauseum at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it's overwhelming how much AI videos is happening.
Yeah.
But
for my parents and for like certain folks out there, like my dad will show me stuff and I'm like, Dad,
that's not real.
That's not a person. That's not real. Yeah. And they don't fully know, so like that's what I was kind of poking at, is like, I don't like when people are trying to deceive or trick.
Yes.
For me, that's why I'm here, and why I love Endless Customers is it's like, let's build trust. Let's
authenticity.
Keep it real. So, but there are ways to use AI and still keep it real and not trick people. And I think it's just finding that line and not blurring that like gray area.
And I think that the reason why we're seeing so much of that AI creative is, guess why? People like them.
People like it, and I also think it's easy and it's fast and it's cheap. Like that.
Yes.
That's the other piece. It's like people who don't necessarily.
And you don't have to use your face.
Right. You don't have to be on camera. A lot of
There's
people.
zero authenticity.
Dude, I didn't want to be on camera. When I first started doing the show, I was like, I'm behind the camera. I'm not in front of it. But that's a real thing for a lot of businesses and people out there. And I think too, budget. I mean, people start to instantly go, you want to make video.
It's expensive.
You need cameras. You need
lighting.
Lights, you need mics. And then it's
script.
Right. And it's like, you're trying to scale a business. I can't spend 10, 20, 30 grand on camera gear, and I don't even know what the heck I'm doing. So like, I think that's part of it is it's fast and it's easy, and it's a great way to make content that's pretty close to what
being good.
Yeah. Yep.
But I think the two extremes are going to happen. People are going to go all in on live streaming and authenticity, and then they're going to have separate AI avatars to represent their brand. That's full satire.
Yeah. Full satire. All right. Well, we've covered a lot of ground. I'm still digesting. I'm sorry. I'm like, this has been a great conversation. I love having you on the show. We're going to have you back on the show for sure.
Absolutely.
But this is the point in the show where I'm going to put you on the spot. What's one thing for listeners, for our viewers out there, that they should take away from this conversation? Like, what's the most important nugget that people should like walk away from this episode and go like, I'm going to go do this tomorrow, or I'm going to get after it right now?
I would say it's go all in on AI. It's not a bubble. It's the real deal. And I think creators have a lot of hesitancy with it because we feel like it's replacing us, but it's one of those things where it's pretty serious, and it's almost like spiritually serious. So I'm a big proponent that, not to get like religious, but we're children of God. And so eventually over time we stop listening to God and we just kind of had our own freedom. I think AI is going to do the same thing. I think we're going to be able to control it for a while, but then it's going to go do its own thing. So really carefully think about the tool that you're using and try to use it for your benefit, but go all in on it. Don't be hesitant, because it's not hype. So, and I know that sounds really cliche, but when you use tools like FreePick, you start to realize how powerful it is. Yeah. And I think they're just going to get better. I think they're going to keep investing money into it. I think we're going to do whatever it takes to make the best AI. And I think it's already here. It's called ChatGPT. OpenAI is a serious company to keep looking at. It is my exclusive company I work with. I don't look at any of the other AI models for text and just like AI and APIs and things along those lines. I fully believe it's sentient. And I really think that there's going to be a black swan event Are you familiar with what a black swan is?
I am, but maybe explain it just in case people aren't sure what that is.
So a black swan is COVID. Black swan is Donald Trump. A black swan is 9/11. A black swan is Hiroshima. These are all events that you could have just never seen coming, but they just happen out of nowhere. 2008, the recession, those kinds of things happen and you can kind of see it coming, but one day it just happens.
You can't plan for it, and then all of a sudden,
the world changes.
Rug pull. Yep.
I think OpenAI is an update away from that happening, from our world just looking vastly different. And I think that the more you understand it, I think the better position you're going to be. So I would say my one takeaway is invest in AI.
Incredibly well said. And I 100% agree with you. And I think I'm a creative. I like to think of myself as a creative, and I came out of filmmaking and film school, and I was very nervous about the shift, and I didn't want to believe it at first. I was definitely a detractor. I didn't want to buy into it, but you're 100% right. This is the future. This is where it's going. It's almost like people who used to do the yellow pages, and they were like, "Oh, the internet's not going to be that big of a deal." We're in a similar revolution that's happening right now.
100%.
And I think the key takeaway, and it's a good takeaway, is that whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, it's happening. So you got to try to stay on the leading edge of it, or learn as much as you can so that you can be a part of it instead of getting left behind.
Can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
So in 2019, we were using a tool called Jasper.
Yep.
You familiar?
I am familiar with it. Yep.
And it was AI at the time, with AI text. It was this big, cool idea. And we were like, let's send it to a customer, see if they approve it. Customer approved the article. And we were like, oh my God, a customer just approved an AI written article. We're not writing content anymore. And at the time, everybody was like, oh, Google search doesn't reward AI content, whatever. And then now we're sending clients AI images and AI ads and AI videos, and they're approving them. So I think eventually it's just going to be so good. And Instagram has a little AI label. So when we run ads, there is an AI label.
Yeah.
I think eventually it's going to be so good, it's going to be indistinguishable, like you said, with your dad. So what else are they going to approve in the near future? That's kind of our gauge. Like, what is the client willing to use?
Yeah.
And now it's photo, it's video, it's text. What's next?
What's next? That's exciting.
AI answering service, are there going to be physical robots? I think those are all those things that are currently manifesting that is going to happen.
Yeah. They're already happening. I can't tell you how many bots I get calls almost on the daily, and you answer it, and for a split second, it sounds like Joe Schmo on the other end of the line. And it takes like a full sentence before you go like, oh,
you're fake.
That's an agent.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Wow.
The new iOS update, do you use iPhone?
I don't. I'm an Android user. I'm Apple everything except for the phone, because I'm a camera guy. So I like having the
connection and SD cards.
Everyone's going to hate on me now for saying that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you're canceled.
Yep. Instant.
The iPhone has this new feature that reduces spam significantly, because the person has to leave a message, and you always see the AI agent leaving a message, and you just never get the call anymore. So to your point, like you have to humanize those things. So focus on the things that are going to be humanized, like the live streams, the relationship building, and then use AI to pump out creative.
Got to keep it human. Got to keep it real.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for all your insights and for being on the show today. This has been an awesome conversation.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you back on the show again soon. And for everybody out there watching and listening, this is Endless Customers. I'm your host, Alex Winter. Catch you on the next episode.